Good morning. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. Today we are back online because our new home, the 4 Points Sheraton at RDU, is occupied. So sit back and enjoy the service. My name is Marianne Atwell Hardy, and I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here. And we're going to start today, as we always do, which is with the meditation. Because getting quiet inside of ourselves not only prepares us for what's to come, but also prepares the space, even virtual space. So I'm going to first just invite you to get comfortable, to get all the wiggles out, to be able to take a very deep breath, and then I'm going to do a reading, and then we'll have about 15 minutes of silence with some meditation music, and then I will bring you out, and our service starts at 10:45. So again, I invite you to just settle in, get quiet, take a deep breath. Someone described it as playing follow the leader with your breath. Just follow it in, and follow it back out. Follow it in, follow it out. Today I'm going to read from Ernest Holmes, 365 Days. I enter into my divine inheritance and know that all my inward vision perceives will be mine. Like Moses, I stand on the mountaintop of spiritual perception. Now, free from all obstruction, the vista is perfect. The vision is sublime. There are no clouds in the sky. I look out across innumerable other mountain peaks, and in each I recognize another divine subject of the heavenly presence. The gates of my soul are lifted up, and a flood tide of intuition flows through. Confronted with discord, I will see harmony. Confronted with unhappiness, I will unmask it also by seeing through this false space to the true countenance of joy. It is written that joy comes with the morning, and I know this morning is eternal. Confronted with a sense of lack, I will unmask this false sense and reveal the divine horn of plenty. I will lift up my bowl of acceptance that it may be filled with the divine gifts. I embark upon the sea of today's experience, knowing that the heavenly pilot is at the helm. I seek the bold adventure of discovering new lands, realizing that there's a place within me where thought springs spontaneous from the infinite, and where the idea and the things merge into one. I permit the inspiration of divine creative genius of the universe to impart new ideas, to create new scenes, to enlarge all of my horizons. I feel the ocean beneath me is teeming with life, that the air is vibrant with invisible forces. My boat rides safe and sure, and even now I am entering the port of attainment. I'm living my dream. So I invite you to just get quiet, listen to the music for about 15 minutes. So, with gentle reverence, holding on to that peace that you cultivated in that quiet time, I invite you to come back into the room if you're ready to open your eyes. Leave your heart, eyes, and ears open. And thank you for being part of the meditation that helps prepare us for the service to come. We'll see you at 10:15. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday celebration service for the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Carol Cross, and I am one of the licensed practitioners here at TCSL. So for those of you who are familiar with us, if you didn't hear the announcements and notice things look a little different, today and today only, we are doing our services online. And that is because our beloved Dusty and our beloved Heather are out of town doing things that are important to them. And we are delighted for them to have a break. And we had a team set to cover for them. But our contract with the hotel said that occasionally we'd have to switch rooms. And it turned out that this Sunday was the first time that they needed us to switch rooms, which isn't the biggest deal. But since Dusty and Heather have the most experience on all the little things that make things look really good, both in the room and online, we figured, let's wait until we've got our experts here to handle a transfer to a different room. Since we know that StreamYard works really well because we used it for months during the height of the pandemic, we just said, let's just do it online. So we miss seeing everybody in person, but we'll be back and we'll hope to see you next Sunday at the 4 Points at Sheraton, RDU, in our usual room. And with Dusty and Heather back with us. So if this is your first time running into us, we are one of a network of Centers for Spiritual Living all over the globe. We happen to be based in Research Triangle, North Carolina. And sort of the foundational belief of the Centers for Spiritual Living is that everything, everyone, all that we have in this manifest universe is actually an incarnation or a manifestation of one power, one presence, which is spirit. That each one of us, everything that we see and feel, and even the invisible things, the air, the energy, the transmission waves, there is, in essence, they come from spirit. And so because of this, we believe that there are spiritual laws that run this universe just as reliably as our physical laws. So we know on this planet, if I throw up a ball, it's going to fall down. If you throw up a ball, it's going to fall down. If Oprah Winfrey throws up a ball, it's going to fall down. The laws apply to everybody. So we believe that's true about spiritual laws too. So similarly, we believe what kind of energy you put out into the world is going to come back to you sooner or later. So this is what we do. We have these services on Sunday and Wednesday. We have classes, workshops, book clubs, all sorts of things where we are working at mastering these spiritual laws, because we believe at the core, how our life is showing up is based on our beliefs, our thoughts, our emotions, and our ability to use these spiritual laws to the best of our abilities. So we get together to become better and better masters of these spiritual laws. Not only to create a life that we dream of, but to create a better planet, to create a better life for everyone and everything on this world. So that's what we're up for today. And if that sounds good to you, we are so glad that you have joined us. So I want to begin by thanking Marianne Atwell Hardy for her meditation on joy, which is always a great way to start off any morning. And it just is, particularly important when we're doing something kind of different. We can all get sort of nervous or whatever. And Marianne's meditation just created this beautiful bubble of calm and serenity and being grounded in the truth of knowing that we are one with God. So thank you so much, Marianne, for setting the container for today's service. And I would like to welcome her back as our platform host, Marianne Hardy. Yay!
Hey, thank you, Carol. Thank you. The theme for the year 2022 is Living Everyday Wonder. Our theme for the month of September is work. And Rev Tom's talk title today is Living Your Dream. I'm now going to read our community purpose statement, which is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives into also being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. So now I invite you once again to close your eyes, keep your hearts and minds open, and just allow the sounds of the crystal bowls to wash over you.
So now if you can return to your physical incarnation and open your eyes. I am going to do our blessings of all faiths. And through the magic of pre-recorded video, I'm going to be assisted by this today with our beloved Heather Abbott.
The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exception. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is.
Okay, and now I'll ask you to close your eyes once again as I say an invocation for today's service. So, going within, I feel a oneness. I feel a connection with all of you. But this isn't technological connection, although I am so grateful for that. It is the connection of spirit. It is the knowledge that it's not even that we're brothers and sisters. We are all part of the same one huge, inexhaustible energy source, which is spirit. That, like every finger, is just part of the hand. Every one of us have that root of spirit. Binds us all together in a beautiful web of spiritual energy. And that web is a web of love, a web of peace, joy, abundance, wisdom, power. And I'm grateful for this moment to really rest into that web and feel my connection with others. And so from this place, I would a blessing on Reverend Leslie and Heather, who I know are blessing in heart and spirit. I say a word of blessing on Eva, our AV angel, who is making this entire service possible with her technical expertise, but also with her heart full of love. I say a word of blessing on Marianne Hardy, the woman I call the Queen of Serene, who just brings such great energy to everything that I say a word of blessing on our musician today, Cindy Johnson. Such a beautiful soul with so many musical gifts. I say a word of blessing on our speaker today, Reverend Tom Pitman, a man with such deep wisdom and spiritual consciousness that I know that his talk today will both ground us and enliven us. And I can't wait for that. But most of all, I say a word of blessing on everyone who's participating today. All of those who are watching now and who will watch in the future. Because that's the thing, our electronic, our digital connection only goes one way. But that's not true of our energetic connection. So your thoughts, your intentions, your prayers, your meditations, your affirmations are shared with all of us. This is a joint event we are co-creating. And every soul, every incarnation is adding to this experience. So thank you. Thank you for being on our web. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this beloved community. I'm so grateful that we have these technologies that give us options to bring you the best possible service under the circumstances of this particular day. I'm so grateful for everyone's contribution to this service. And I'm so grateful in the knowledge, knowing that because we are standing here in this web of spiritual power, that all things will unfold perfectly. And that each one of us will take this message into our lives and into the world and make us all a better place. So knowing that this is the truth, knowing that God is perfect and I am God and all of us are God, and therefore everything is going to be perfect, I say, let's turn it over to the divine and ask you to affirm this for yourself and for our entire community with our words, and so it is. All right. Now, our reading for today is from 5 Gifts for an Abundant Life by Diane Harmony, and it's entitled Dream. And what does it mean to dream? To dream is to open yourself to the thoughts of God. To dream is to become consciously aware of the desires of God that want to come through you. To dream is to choose one thought and say yes to it. To dream is to surrender into the mind of your heart, where the invisible divine idea can find fertile soil to grow and become, no matter what the external circumstances. To dream is to step beyond what is to what can be. To dream is to dance in the realm of all possibilities, to step outside the box, to try on, to stretch and grow, to choose to be a vehicle of holy manifestation. To dream is the first step of receiving the gift of intentions. And so it is. Man, I am totally inspired just by that reading. So I can't wait to hear what Reverend Tom has to tell us. But to get us even more primed for his wisdom, we first have our beloved Cindy Johnson, who is such a mainstay of our musical program. And she it's just so wonderful because not only is she so talented, but she has such a can-do attitude about, oh, come perform a hotel, okay. Oh, stay at home and perform, okay. You know, if we asked her to come in the middle of a parking lot, she'd probably figure out a way to do it. So thank you so much, Cindy, for who you are and what you do for us. And let's welcome Cindy.
Thank you, Carol. It's a pleasure to see you all here today. And thank you, Carol, for all that you do for our community.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace, with skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people strolling by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? I think they're really saying, I love you. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. Yes, a brotherhood of man. I hear babies crying. I watch them grow. They will learn much more than I'll ever know. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think it could be such a wonderful world. Imagine just imagine.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Those were such beautiful renditions of such beautiful songs. So, I know we're all primed now to hear Reverend Tom's message. But just before we bring Reverend Tom on, for those of you all who've been around for a while, I don't know, I can't even imagine the center without Reverend Tom. He was here when I first got here, and I don't know, he's been here for at least a decade or so. And he just seemed, when I started, it seemed like he was leading the members or the leadership board, and he was teaching classes, and he was practitioner, and he was doing meditations. He was just doing so things. He was been such a rock of our community. And then for a few years, he retired from a distinguished career as a lawyer for military, and moved to Florida in order to pursue a minister's degree with one of our religious science schools down in Florida. And he threw himself into that, just like he throws himself into the things that he cares about. And he earned his minister's degree. And we were fortunate enough that he and his wife moved back to our area, and he came back to our community and continued to contribute in so many ways. So we are all always grateful for Reverend Tom's influence and contributions to our community. But it's a rare treat to get to hear one of his talks. And he just brings such deliberation and such wisdom. So I know we can't wait to hear his talk. So Reverend Tom Pitman.
Thank you very much. And Cindy, especially thank you for the beautiful songs. I love the way that you intertwined them. But I love particularly you sang my favorite song, What a Wonderful World, because it always brings warm feelings and tears to my eyes. Dr. Jonas Salk became quite famous in the 1950s for developing a cure to infantile paralysis. And that's a disease that we commonly refer to as polio. And I don't know if many of you realize or have known anyone who had polio, but you've probably seen the pictures of children in these great big tubes of metal, and they were called iron lungs, just their head sticking out one end, and the machine was to breathe for them. Now, polio was a pandemic. It struck the young, the children, primarily. And it was not just in this country, it was worldwide. And many hospitals had dozens of those iron lungs operating at one time, because this disease was so crippling, it paralyzed the child's ability to breathe. And Salk developed the cure, a vaccine. And he was one day being interviewed at the height of his fame. And the interviewer said, Dr. Salk, why with a medical degree would you go into medical research rather than just practicing medicine, treating individual patients? And he responded, why did Mozart compose music? Salk knew that medical research was what he was called to do. But let me tell you a little bit more about Dr. Salk. He created the Salk Institute in La Jolla, California, and he either lived on the institute grounds or very nearby, and he was quite often seen going to his laboratory, sometimes so early in the morning it wasn't dawn yet. The sun hadn't come up. And he stayed in the laboratory every day until well after dark, late at night, and he would go home. Now, he passed away, made his transition in the 1990s, in his 80s. And shortly before his passing, he was interviewed again, and a young interviewer said, Dr. Salk, He said, you spend so many hours every day laboring in your laboratory. You work so hard. Why do you work so hard at your age? And Salk looked at him with this sort of questioning look in his face, like he didn't understand. He said, work? I never worked a day in my life. He says, I go in the laboratory and play all day, every day. Dr. Salk knew he was living his dream because he was playing. It wasn't work. He had no sense of time. He was just playing. Now, what is a dream? I thought we should define it, so that we knew what we were talking about, since the title is Living Your Dream. And so I looked at 6 or 8 different dictionaries to get a definition of the dream. And the majority of them had only a single definition. And that was the definition you and I would expect. It's what occurs when we're asleep, and the images, et cetera, that we all know about when we dream. The few that offered a second option offered this. They said a dream is a hope. It's an aspiration of something either impossible or highly improbable that we want to occur. Really? Is that what we want to take with us into the world as our definition of a dream? If we're going to live our dream, something impossible or highly improbable to occur? Well, let's take our hint. Let's take our guidance. Let's not call it a hint. Our guidance from our reading today from Diane Harmony. And she says, your dream is to open yourself to the thoughts of God. To choose one of those thoughts and say yes to it, to become consciously aware of the desires of God that want to come to the world through you. To step beyond what is to what can be. For this dream is your first step in receiving the gift of intention for your life. Now that's a definition of a dream I can live with. It's not simply a passion like what we'll hear people say, well, it's just your passion. No. But for us, we have to say, well, what is it that magnetically draws this dream forth for us? So let me give you a clue. We'll go back to what Dr. Salk said, play. Now, most of you know I've been blessed to have 5 children, all girls, which that in itself was a blessing, but I didn't see it always that way because I didn't understand little girls. But they played just like any other child. If you watch children before they start school and get structured, how they play together. And they run and they laugh and they play games, or they create games, or they just do things. They're just a ball of energy and they're having the best time. They're giggling and there's nothing but joy and fun. Yeah, once in a while a skin knee, but mostly joy and fun. But there's no sense of time. It's play. It's what they do. And you have to go out and you have to come in and say, it's supper time. You got to come inside. You got to take a bath. You got to go to bed. And they go, no, I want to play. I want to play with my friends. Imagine that. Think of that idea of play for that young child. Now, sometimes you'll see people who are doing this in life. You don't need a guide to tell you, oh, look, that person's living their dream. I've seen this in my own wife, Karen. She's doing something that for her, she may not even realize it's her dream. But I see she'll come down from working a long day and she gets forgetful. She forgets to take breaks. She doesn't take a break for lunch. She'll come down from her office upstairs because she works from home and she'll say, oh, I've been sitting in that chair all day working, and I'm on the phone and I'm talking and I'm going to meetings and I'm doing this and I'm interacting and I'm creating these documents and things. and I'm so tired. And then she smiles and stretches and goes, oh, I'm so tired. It's that wonderful, good tired of doing what you dream. Now, she also has given me a couple of other clues. Carol mentioned that we lived in Florida for a couple of years. And one morning she got up and she said, I'm going to retire this year. I've decided it's time for me to retire. I said, okay. She says, and I want to move back home. Let's go back home to North Carolina. So we packed up and we came back to North Carolina. Now her retirement, every time we get close to the date, it gets postponed. And it keeps getting postponed. I think we've had 6 or 7 postponements for the retirement. Most since we've been back here in North Carolina. Now, the last time I heard we were retiring at the end of this year, maybe. Friday, she said, I get an email from her and the subject says need. I looked at the email and I'm going, what in the world? And she says, I need this for when I have to travel and when I have to do such and such, excuse me, so I can work while I'm not here at the house. And it's a swivel screen that attaches to, about $400 second screen for her computer so she can do dual screens. She says, because I'm working on creating documents and things and I need both screens all the time. So I'm not expecting retirement at the end of this year. I think she's going to continue to live her dream because it's fun. It's play. She has no sense of time. Now, why don't more of us live our dreams? Well, we have some distractions as we're growing up. Most of us don't even think about dreams. Many parents don't even talk about dreams or dreams for their children. But we're around people as we're growing that we have afforded credibility. Maybe because they were leaders, maybe because they're counselors, adults, whatever. But we think they know best for our lives. Now, they may be well-wishers. They may be going, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you say, a fireman. Oh, that's great. Yeah, go on, you be a fireman. Or others might have a dream for us. They may say, you look, I see the way you speak. I see the way you do. You should probably be a lawyer. You should go to law school. Or you're good at math. You should be a computer specialist. Now, of course, often the most critical people for us are our mothers and fathers. And here's one of the things that they sometimes tend to do. They didn't hear about dreams growing up either. And if your mothers and fathers were my parents' generation, they lived during the Depression, during World War II. And they thought having a dream was getting a good job. My dad said, your first role, your job in life is to care for your family. Get a good job, one that has great benefits, one that pays good money, one that has a retirement attached to it, and take care of your family. Now, my mother, on the other hand, her idea was, I want my 2 boys to be medical doctors. She loved the medical field. She worked in it or around it her entire life. But her dream was for us to be doctors. Live your dream for your children, I think was her motto. Now, unfortunately, neither one of us became doctors, so that was disappointing to her. And it was even probably more disappointing because we were both unnaturally good in sciences and math, which were critical to the medical field at that time. And some of the other distractions we have are negative comments. Oh, you can't do that. You don't have any talent for that. No, don't pick that. You're not good at that. Those are the comments we might hear from outside, but we also comment those same things No, I don't want to do this career because I'm afraid of this and I'm afraid of that, or whatever. Now, one of the other things that keep us from dreaming is we like to think that it's instantaneous. We're an instant gratification society. Oh my goodness, well, my dream, everything, it's instantly done. No, it's part of the creative process. Like our lesson said, it's the first step. The first step. I think the two greatest golfers that I've had the opportunity to see perform in the world were Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Wood. Now, I promise you that the first time either one of them ever picked up a golf club, they were not standing down in Georgia at the Masters and winning it and putting on the green jacket. It just didn't happen. Augusta National, that's what I was trying to think of. They weren't standing there. Now, they picked up a golf club. They had probably a very natural swing to them, as many children do. But they were born with that gift. But it was a gift that had to be developed. It was a gift that had to evolve over time. Instant gratification doesn't tend to work. Look at our lottery grand prize winners. Suddenly they're wealthy beyond their imagination. And you can read account after account of how 2-3 years later they're broke. They've lost everything because they didn't know how. They weren't willing to learn and take time to appreciate the good fortune that was bestowed on them. All of our choices produce results. We're always a choice. It always produces a result. And many times we're asked to fine-tune those results. And that's true of a dream, just as it's true of everything else. Sometimes the dream doesn't have the clarity. And you go through periods of unknowing of how it's to work. The Spirit is within you, and Spirit is speaking to you, and Spirit is nudging you in the direction of growing that dream. And of course, I don't want to leave out the forces outside of our control. I mentioned I'm probably a little older than most of you. So I came along at a time where we had the military draft, and we also had the Vietnam War. And so what happened was, if you went to college, you were allowed a deferment until you finished college. Then you went into the military. Or if you just graduated from high school or became 18 and dropped out of high school, you got to go in the military right away. Or other forces beyond our nature is where you have to provide for others. I had a wonderful classmate in law school, very gifted in his understanding of the law and his ability to synthesize things. And after our first semester, and people went home for Christmas and New Year's and everything, something outrageously difficult and challenging happened. His father, who was the sole owner of a very profitable, very successful company, had a massive stroke and was bedridden for the rest of his life. My classmate, as the oldest child with siblings that were younger and still in high school, and a mother to take care of, dropped out of law school and took over the company for his dad. He had to provide for others. Now, I have no idea if that was his dream. I suspect probably not. But I think as we move forward in our talk this morning, let's look to the guidance of the words of Howard Thurman. And Dr. Thurman says, our dreams belong to us. Our dreams are our spirit, the vital part of us. They become for us the bearers of new possibility, the enlarged horizon, the great hope. So if you've gotten diverted in realizing your dream, there's hope for you still. It's still there. So let's look at what it could be and how we can find it. Now, if you were around the center before the pandemic and you were able to take classes and workshops and attend all the Sunday talks, one of the things you probably heard over and over was reference to your authentic self. And when you ask, now what is my authentic self? You were probably told it's something you have to go within to find it. It's an inside job. And only you can know. But how does it relate to work? You know, work in the world around us has a lot of negative connotations. If you go to somebody and you say work or job, they go, oh, and you can feel their shoulders fall and their composure drift away. Because the world tells us that work is supposed to be hard, and it's supposed to be especially hard if you expect to succeed. But what do we teach in Science of Mind? That your work is an extension of your passion for the world. Your passion for the world. And we say to you, what makes you come alive? That's a clue to what is your passion. That's a clue to what is your authentic self. What makes you come alive? What makes you feel like a child at play? So how do we find it? Well, the first step is to reflect. Go reflect, and if you close your eyes and you go within and you imagine that scene that I mentioned earlier of children at play, young children at play, and those feelings of total joy. When did you have those feelings of total joy? When do you have them now? When do you have feelings of total freedom? Knowing that no matter what you do, it's going to succeed. Knowing that there's no sense of time or space, it's just this wonderful freedom, it's just joyful, fun playing. I encourage you, use the spiritual practices that we teach. There are several of them. And you can use whichever ones resonate with you best. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's saying affirmations. It could be contemplation or spiritual reading or prayer, whichever works for you. I particularly find the most useful ones for me are meditation and visioning. Now, most of you have probably participated in a visioning with the center about where we're to go, what we're to do, any number of things. Well, you can vision at home. You can vision in a small group. You can vision alone. I vision alone. I ask myself these 5 or 6 questions. I'm quiet in between, and I let Spirit speak to me in its still small voice, providing guidance. Not necessarily the final answer. Remember, this is a growing process. But the final answer of what I need to know right now. And one prayer that I'm particularly fond of, and I think I've shared it with you before in an earlier talk, is Dr. Tom Sanner's Prayer of Revelation. And it goes like this. I know that Spirit reveals to me all that I need to know about my authentic self in such a manner that I may understand and act upon this information creatively, lovingly, sincerely, and wisely. And so it is. Now you can use this prayer many, many times. You can use it for whatever you want. You can take out authentic self and put in whatever you're asking for guidance about. You can use it at each step of the process in your growing and developing your authentic self. And you can use it any time of the day. I sometimes use it right before I meditate. One of the most effective times I've found to use it is right before you fall asleep. Because many times in your dreams, you'll get some guidance. Or you'll wake up and something will pop into your head and you'll say, oh, that fits exactly what I'm looking for. But the important things to know about your authentic self is it's always there waiting to be born. Remember, it's inside you. It's wanting to come out. Juliana Van Sant said, life infused us with the power to conceive, express, and enjoy the fruits of our creative power. We create through thought, word, and deed. We are each here to reveal the creative ideal of the divine. And that's what your authentic self, that's what your dream is. It's the creative ideal of the divine. Or if that was a little too much for you, I'll go back to one of my favorite philosophers from film. I enjoy finding little spiritual guidance in movies and books. And one of the best films I've ever seen that just resonated with me with wondrous spiritual guidance was The Legend of Bagger Vance. And it's a golf movie. And what you find out as you're watching is that Bagger Vance is the incarnation of God. This is God in human form, and he's the caddy for our hero. And our hero's struggling. He was a war hero, but he's lost his swing. And he's just basically making a fool of himself on the golf course. And he's playing the two greatest golfers of the time, Bobby Jones and Walter Hagen. And Bagger Vance says to our hero, look at Bobby Jones. He says, there's only one shot that is in perfect harmony with the field. One shot that's his authentic shot, and that shot's gonna choose him. There's a perfect shot out there trying to find each and every one of us. All we have to do is get ourselves out of the way to let it choose us. And I was awestruck when I heard that. Those last two sentences, what I heard was, there's a perfect expression of your authentic self out there trying to find each and every one of us. All we have to do is get out of the way and let it choose us. It's there. It wants to come out. It wants to be recognized. It wants to manifest and express as you. As you. How wonderful that is. For we are expressions of the divine. We're unique, individualized expressions of this loving God. And what's God's will for us? God's will for us is for us to express our divinity in a way that harms no one. Now, there's lots and lots of websites out there. You can Google finding my authentic self or finding my authenticity, whatever you want to Google, and you'll get lots of responses. But most of them are explaining methods that are only applicable to worldly authenticity. Finding a good job, finding your way in the world, how to make your life work. I think we can get some guidance, though, in looking for our authentic self from our friends, the Buddhists. And one of the Buddhist words that they use is dharma. And it's Sanskrit, meaning purpose in life. And the Buddhists teach that there are three components to realizing your dharma. The first is you are here in this world, in this manifestation. You are here to discover your true self. You're here to express your unique talents. And you're here to be of service to humanity. Now, about a decade ago, I attended a workshop or a class or something, but in the end, whoever was leading handed out affirmation cards, and they were about the size, about like this, about the size of a coaster for a drink. And I looked at mine and I was dumbfounded. Here's what it said. Each of us came into this life with a purpose, with lessons to learn and gifts to give. As we grow in spiritual awareness and develop our intuition, we are guided toward fulfilling that purpose in every way. Our purpose for existing is to be and live and express our authentic self. And as we develop our intuition, we hear more clearly and more easily that still small voice of the divine as it speaks to us, showing us and telling us the next right thing to do in every thought, word, and action. Now, you might guess that I have kept that affirmation card. In fact, I've turned it into a personal affirmation. So I went back and changed it to say, I came into this world, and as I grow, I am guided toward fulfilling that purpose in every way. It means that much to me. But now remember, remind you again, this process is not always easy. It is a process that's learning, this growing process. It's our creative process that we teach about. But think back, looked at children at play. I want you to think back, whether it's your own children, a friend's children, a brother, sister, whatever it was. But think back when children were learning to walk. How they tried to stand up and fell on their little diaper padded bottom, or got hold of something, pulled up, and then tried to take a step and fell. And we encouraged them. We said, get up, try again. If they cried, we wiped their tears, comforted them, and let them try again. No mother, no father on the face of the earth said, my child's not going to learn to walk because I'm afraid they'll fall and hurt themselves. We encourage them to walk. We encourage you to seek your authentic self. Now, there's benefits to doing that, because doing what you love brings you joy. Doing what inspires you brings you personal peace. It allows happiness in your life. We know that God is love and that we are created from that substance of love, and it's unconditional love. We know that God wants only good for its creation. And so doing what you love, what inspires you, is a reflection of your awareness of this providing nature of good as it expresses in your life. Now you may say, oh my goodness, you don't understand, Tom. I've got 20 years already at this job that I'm working at, and I'm vested in the retirement system, and I simply just can't drop it all and go and find my authentic self and go do something else. Okay, that's fine. Appreciate where you are. Learn from right where you are, right where you're standing, right here, right now. I'm not telling you you have to start over, although some of you may choose to do that. What I am telling you, though, is you can still live your authentic self in some ways while you're working. You can still plan to make that switch later on. I remember listening to a motivational speaker, and he was relating how one time he did some interaction with, it was either a small group or maybe it was a one-on-one interaction with somebody, and the gentleman he was interacting with, he said, was an very, very successful dentist. somewhere in his mid-40s. So successful that his annual income was 7 figures. And he was absolutely miserable. He hated it, his job. He hated what he was doing. And he said to the speaker, you know, I just can't stand this. But I can't change my job. I can't do something else because I've got so many people responsible for me. I'm for. He says, I have this staff and these other dentists, and I own this building. And he says, yeah, I've got this big house that I've got to pay for, and kids in college and cars and this and that, the other. I just, too much that I have to do. And the speaker said to him, well, why in the world then did you become a dentist? And very quickly he turned and he said, because some 17-year-old kid thought it would be fun to be a dentist. It brought to my mind a song, one of my favorite songs, by the way, because it's been meaningful in my life, by an old rock band that you probably know, Steppenwolf. But it may be a song you've not heard before. Never Too Late is the name of it. And one of the not the chorus, but one of the stanzas in the song, the singer was saying, you know, I've got my college degree hanging on the wall. I worked real hard for it. My parents worked real hard to earn the money to send me to school, but I'm not happy in what I'm doing. I don't feel that it's the real me coming forth. And this chorus of the song says, it's never too late to start all over again. Now remember, I said, I'm not telling you you have to chuck it all today. That may work for some of you. But start from where you are to realize who you really are, who God created you to be, who and what that purpose for your life is, and work to that degree. But the work you're doing today can be very noble work. All we have to do is spiritualize it. You know, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And we're also living a spiritual experience in the world every moment of every day. So rather than getting up and going, I gotta go to work today. Oh, I don't like this person at my job, and this person is so annoying, and that person. Go to work and take your spiritual experience to work. Now, the starting point should be your perspective. You familiar story, many of you have probably heard. A man was walking down the road and he comes to a construction site and he sees a bricklayer and he says, what are you doing? And the bricklayer says, well, you can see what I'm doing. I'm laying brick. He walks a little further. He sees another bricklayer and he says, what are you doing? And he says, oh, my job is just to build this wall. And he walks a little further and sees a third bricklayer. And he says, what are you doing? And the third bricklayer says to him, oh, I'm building a cathedral. It'll be grand. It'll be a wonderful place for people here and to come from far and wide and to join together in community and be friends and family and worship God. I'm so blessed to do this work. They were all doing the same work, but their perspective on what they were doing made the difference in whether that work was labor or whether that work was worship. Henry Giles said, there is no work so menial that you cannot exalt it. There is no work so impassive that you cannot breathe your soul into it. There is no work so dull that one may not enliven it with their own being. Fear of change is the greatest obstacle you will face. Fear will keep us static. But Ernest Holmes reminds us, let us not forget that fear is contagious. However, faith is doubly so. There is at the center of our being a strong fortress of faith, placed there by a power greater than we are, which is God in us. So the beginning point, the starting point for you is waking up to the fact that something needs to change in your life. Waking up to the fact that there is something calling you forth. It wants to express in and as you. Now, I will share with you a little more of Karen's story, my wife's story. We had some friends over for dinner one night. This was back in the early 90s. And the wife was the head of the nursing program at the community college there in Onslow County. And I overheard Karen say to her, you know, my dream was to become a nurse. When I was a teenager, I was a candy striper. And my first job was to transcribe medical records for a doctor's practice, a physician's practice. And then I went and I worked in a hospital. And I'd forgotten some of those things. In fact, I never even knew that she'd been a candy striper. So the next morning, we're getting ready for work. And I said to her, yeah, I heard what you said and how you said that was your dream. I said, why don't you go back to nursing school? And I got the litany of reasons why, you know, oh, we've got 2 kids in college right now. We're this, we're that, we got this. And, you know, all these reasons why we shouldn't. Said, besides, I'm too old. So I said, okay, well, if you go back to nursing school, how old are you going to be in 5 years? And she looked at me and she said, you know how old I'll be. I said, okay. If you don't go back to nursing school, how old are you going to be in 5 years? And I got what husbands call the glare. And she says, I know what you're trying to do. And I said, well, just do this. Consider it. Look into it. If that's your dream, you need to realize it. And I'll do all that I can to help you accomplish it. She went back to nursing school. She found out that with her previous coursework and her life experiences, she only had to do 2 years to finish her bachelor's degree. And then she went on and got her master's degree. And she is doing the work she dreamed of. And she's happy. She's fulfilled. She plays every day as she does this work. And you can do that too. You can do that right now. You can do that when you finish whatever your current career path is doing. Just make sure it's important that you take the daily spiritual practices with you. Continue to do whatever works and resonates with you, because what you are doing every day, as you are learning, as you are growing, as you are becoming the manifestation of your authentic self, is you are creating daily wonder wherever you go. Wherever you go, you're creating this, and people are looking at you. And whether they do it and point at you and say, I don't know what it is, but whatever you've got, I want that. They're thinking it, and they're watching you, because you are a wonder. Now, I particularly encourage folks that I work with to do a gratitude journal, or to start every day, make a list of things you're grateful for, and to start every day with a prayer of gratitude. In the Bible, it says God likes a prayer of gratitude. It's his favorite kind of prayer. And I think that's true of Spirit as we worship. Spirit loves to know that we enjoy our life as we are going on. You are pursuing spiritual fulfillment every moment of every day, while you are promoting a healthy and harmonious career, whatever one you're in, whatever one you're doing right now, that is your career. And it can coexist quite peacefully with your growth, because you deserve to be happy. You deserve right here, right now, to be purposeful and to feel your oneness with life on whatever career path you're on. Take this with you in closing. It's your dream. It's resting within you, eager to be realized. Let it come forth. Let it choose you. And so it is. Now I invite you to turn within as we anchor this dream that is yours and that you are living in prayer. I know that there is only one source of all that is, one first cause, one eternal cause of all creation. And I know that source, that eternal cause, is God, the divine presence and spirit of the universe. And I know that God truly is all there is, that nothing exists that is not God. And I know that I am created, and each one of us is created by God out of the very substance of itself. And that substance is the infinite array of love energy vibrating as unconditional love. And that substance never leaves us. It is who we are. It is who is beckoning us to allow it to come forth in its unique, individualized expression as each one of us. For we are the expression of God in physical form. And I know this is happening. I know that as we go within, as we look to know and to find who and what and how our authentic self may be, and to allow it to come forth as the play of our life, as the joy and happiness that knows no time, that knows only expression, that knows us living as one with Spirit. And that is who we are. That is your dream, each one of you, and that is my dream. And it can coexist with us where we are. But as we step forth on this path of learning and creating and allowing, each day brings new sunshine, new light, and our brightness of our individual light shines forth. And I am grateful. I'm grateful that each one of us has the opportunity, has the choice to say yes to the thoughts of God that are within and wanting to be expressed in their unique form. I'm grateful for this word. I'm grateful for its fulfillment, for I know it's already fulfilled in the mind of God. And so I release this word into the law. I know that it's good and perfect and true. And I know that it's happening right now. I set my small ego self aside and I surrender all that I am to God. I remove my bloated nothingness from the divine circuit and I let Spirit express in me and as me. And I know this is true for all of us. So with great faith, I trust completely in the universe that always answers yes. And so I ask you to join with the universe and me in affirming this truth from the depth of your being. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Tom. That was magnificent. it was just like I said, I'm super inspired. And I'm also looking at that foundation about, wow, do I have a definition of dreams that are blocking my ability to dream? Wow. So I know I have plenty of fodder to think about for the coming weeks. So thank you so much. I'm sure I speak for all of us when we say this has been a really valuable talk. And if you all want to get some more of Reverend Tom, he does our weekly Tuesday morning prayer calls, where we alternate between prosperity and health and wellness. And they're just 15 minutes, but it's a great way to start off a day, is to have such a powerful prayer meister get us set for the day's intentions. So thank you so much, Tom. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist this community to be a beacon of light and love for ourselves and for others. Together, we affirm the truth that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and contributes to the experience of sufficiency in the world. So, even though we're virtual today, there are still ways that you can give. You can visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. And there's a place where you can give on the website. You can text the word give using the following number, 919-230-8445, or you can mail your gift to our office. Our address is P.O. Box 4062, Cary, NC 27519. So at this moment, please place your hand on your heart with either your gift or an intention, and let's say our affirmation in a call and response. So, I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing God is my source. And so it is. And now, another gift that keeps on giving. I'll ask Cindy Johnson to do our closing, her second song. So, Cindy Johnson.
Thank you. And Tom, I thank you for your message also. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take, that's the progress that you make. The reason you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. All the places you will go, and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't have to know right now. You're on the right track. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath, and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things.
Thank you, Cindy. That was so great. It'll teach me never to doubt you, because I was thinking, wow, how is she going to follow up Imagine in a Wonderful World? And then when he does this song, that's another one of my total weep meisters.
Thank you,
especially for
Carol.
me, I've used that song with graduations, student graduations. So to me, that was a perfect thing of us who are, no longer in our teens to connect with what what Tom was saying, that it's always possible. So
Yes, it is.
thank you so much. All right. So as you are getting clear on and performing or, pursuing your dreams, it might be good to get some prayer support. So if you would like our team of master prayers to be praying along with you, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org. On the homepage, there is a button in the upper right-hand corner. You click on that button and fill in the request form, and we will send that prayer out to all of our ministers and practitioners to add their consciousness to your prayers. Next, if anybody would like to dedicate flowers for anyone or anything, then please contact Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyripplemeyer@yahoo.com. All right, now we have two things coming up this month, next month, that I am so excited about. And the first is on Sunday, October 16th. Let me start over. On Sunday, October 16th, from 12-ish to 2, we are going to have a presentation by psychic therapist Vincent Jenna on the discussion of his first book, The Secret That's Holding You Back. And Vinny and Eileen have been members of our congregation for so long, but this is his first time being an author. And I have this book, and it is a great book. And what he's really talking about is, it's called The Secret That's Holding You Back. And the idea is that there are thoughts that you don't realize that are blocking you. So you may be doing your prayers and your meditations and your affirmations and all this stuff, and it's still not happening. So Vinny combines a history as a therapist or as a psychologist. And so he's got all the brain science and stuff like this. And then he's got this whole amazing connection with the spiritual dimension. And he combines the two to talk about how you can stop blocking yourself. So you don't want to miss that. So join him as he joins his insights after our service at 4 Points at Cheriton RDU at 1200 Clarence Circle, Mooresville. So bring your copy of the book, or there will be copies available to sign, and Vinny will be giving us his personal take on that. And then the following week, Reverend Andy Ross will be speaking, and this will be Sunday, October 23rd, 12-ish to 2 again, for a discussion of his new book, Creation. This is also an incredible book. Those of you all who read Andy's first book, which is Where is God? A Theology for the Here and Now, which is a gem of a book. This one is focusing specifically on creation. And this is a somewhat more philosophical, contemplative book about why are we here? Not like what Reverend Tom was talking about, like what is our mission? But this is why is any of this here? You know, what is this whole creation about? Very provocative, really interesting book. And so he is going to be talking about it. And once again, bring your book for him to sign, or there will be copies available there. And this again will be held following the service at 4 Points by Sheraton RDU at 1200 Clarence Circle, Morrisville. So just know for both of these things, what's going to happen is we'll have our service, and then we have, 20 minutes so break where we're going to be putting away all of the stuff, the sound equipment and things like that. So we suggest that either you bring a sandwich or a salad or something simple to eat, or quickly run out and pick something out from the many, many restaurants that were just a short distance away. So, you guys can get some food while we put stuff away. And then as soon as we've got things put away, we will have the workshops and things like that. There is a few tables. They will leave a few tables for people to sit at and eat. And then once we get cleaned up, which should be noonish, we'll start the discussions and all of that. All right. Now, another thing that is a super exciting news is the fact that we are going to be offering another session of kind of our keystone class, the foundations class. It is a 10-week entry-level class for the study of science of mind. It is a personal exploration of the 10 core principles of the science of mind philosophy, faith, and way of life, and their application in the process of daily living. You will complete this class with increased poise, confidence, and power in every area of your life. It is a game changer. The class will be held on Tuesday evenings from 6:30 to 9:30, beginning Tuesday, September 27th, and will run through Tuesday, December 6th, with no class on Tuesday, November 8th. There is also a one-day prayer workshop that will be held on Saturday, October 29th from 9 to 4. This class will be facilitated by Reverend Dusty. The cost is $245, and payment plans are available. The required books are The Science of Mind and Living the Science of Mind, which are both by Ernest Holmes. So, if you really want to understand the core of what our work is all about, this is the class to take. So, hope that we will see lots of you there. All right. In the comfort of your own home, please stand for our September affirmation. This is a call and response. So please say it like you mean it and repeat after me. I am a spiritual being living out a spiritual experience in the world 24/7, 365. The work I do contains spiritual elements of meaning and meaningfulness, good and goodness. As an extension of my passion for the world, my work is about more than a result or outcome. I believe that the work of my soul is creating a life that matters. Therefore, each day is an opportunity to embark upon a personal journey to make meaning through my work. Reverently listening for what it wishes for me to represent, I persevere with the strength of spirit. The dream of God is awake and alive in me, and I say yes to bringing it to life through and as me. And so it is. All right, please close your eyes again for one final journey within. And I'm sure I speak for all of us where I'm like, boy, I'm a light. I'm ignited within. I've got so many different threads of thought and inspiration, and knowing that I have been blessed with spiritual wisdom today. And knowing that me living my dreams is essential work, not just for me, not just for my family, not just for my community, but for my world. And I know that that is the truth for each and every one of you, and each and every one in our community, in our world. But we get to go first. I'm so grateful that we have this community. I'm so grateful for the wisdom that we've experienced, the emotional opening that our songs have given us, and for all of these tools that Reverend Tom mentioned: meditation, journaling, visioning, contemplation, classes, books that allow us to take this inspiration and have it unfold through our lives, through our work in the world. And I know that this is what will be going on in the weeks to come, that we examine our dreams, examine what divine manifestation wants to use us in this world. And we allow that to emerge, to unfold, to be revealed. So I know we're all up for a great week, or weeks to come, because what can be better than opening up to being a dream incarnate? So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all of the people who made this possible. So grateful for the workings of spiritual law. And so grateful for this opportunity to come even closer to our vision of a world that works for everyone. So I know that one of our spiritual laws is that the universe says yes to what we ourselves hold firmly. And so I turn this over to that law to say yes to my dreams, to your dreams, to all of our dreams, and ask you to join me in this acclamation of, and so it is. And so it is. All right. Well, thank you all so much. It's been a glorious service. Thank you for your contributions.
Namaste.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Carol. And thank you, Mary Ann.
That's right.
Well, thank you, Cindy, Tom, and Carol.